Ever scroll through like social media and just think, whoa, how'd they even do that? All that crazy tech that seems straight out of science fiction.
Right.
Well, get ready to dive into the world of photonics engineering technicians, the masterminds making those sci-fi dreams a reality.
And the really cool thing about this field is it's everywhere. I'm talking telecommunications, aerospace, medicine, even defense. Photonics is the backbone.
It's like they hold the keys to the future or something. And luckily, we've got this RoleCatcher guide. It's like our cheat sheet to understanding what they actually do.
Hmm.
So it seems these technicians are like the bridge between, those crazy complex engineering ideas and the cool gadgets we use every day.
Exactly. Think of it like this. They're the ones working with lasers, ensuring those surgical instruments are accurate to the tiniest degree,
Hmm.
or piecing together those intricate fiber optic systems that give us lightning fast internet.
Oh, wow. So they're like the wizards behind the curtain making all the magic happen, huh? I'm already hooked. But let's be real for a sec. This level of like precision, working with cutting edge tech, it's got to take some serious skills, right?
Absolutely.
So what's the path to becoming a photonics expert look like?
Well, you got to start with a strong foundation. Usually, an associate's degree in a field like photonics or optics is how most people get their foot in the door.
Okay, makes sense.
But here's the kicker. It's not just about textbook knowledge. This guide really hammers home the importance of hands-on experience.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's one thing to read about calibrating a laser, but to actually do it,
Oh, totally get it.
totally different ballgame. So we're talking internships, co-op programs, that kind of thing.
Exactly. That's where you get those practical skills you just can't learn from a textbook. Imagine putting on your resume that you've worked with the latest fiber optic technology during an internship. Huge leg up.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's a combo of education and getting your hands dirty in the real world. What about specific skills? Like, what kind of mental toolkit do you need to thrive in this line of work?
Hmm. Well, imagine you're like a detective, but for the world of light.
Huh.
Solving these complex puzzles.
Okay.
You need that sharp critical thinking
Yeah,
and the ability to troubleshoot on the fly when things go wrong, which they inevitably will.
makes sense.
And of course, a deep understanding of how it all works, the engineering principles behind it all.
So you got to be equal parts tech savvy and a master problem solver. I like it. You know what else caught my eye in the guide? They really emphasize those soft skills, communication, collaboration,
Oh, for sure.
which seems kind of surprising in a field that's all about, well, lasers and fiber optics.
Right. But that's what makes this career path so interesting. You're not just holed up in a lab with your gadgets. You're part of a team, explaining these complex ideas to colleagues, engineers, even clients sometimes.
Great, right.
Being able to communicate clearly, that can make or break a project.
Okay, so you've got the skills, you've nailed the communication. What's next?
Well, one of the best things about this field is the career ladder. It's pretty clear-cut. You can start at the
Yeah.
bottom and work your way up to senior positions.
Okay, I like it. So let's start with those newbies, fresh out of school. What's an entry-level role actually look like?
So imagine this, you're raring to go, all that fresh knowledge.
Mhm.
You land a gig assisting those seasoned engineers.
Right?
You're building and testing equipment, getting your hands on those blueprints, maybe even doing some basic troubleshooting. It's like real-life, high-tech Legos.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. I bet those senior techs become mentors in a way, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
all about teamwork and learning by doing from the best. And then as you get more experience, you move into a junior position, things get even more interesting.
Oh, how so?
We start taking on more independent projects, maybe help out with the actual designing, conduct tests, troubleshoot stuff on your own.
So they're not just taking orders anymore, they're actually making decisions.
Yeah, exactly. That's where those problem-solving skills we talked about really come in handy.
Makes sense.
Now, fast forward a bit to that intermediate level.
Okay.
This is where they hit their stride.
So I'm picturing someone with a couple years under their belt,
Yeah,
feeling confident and ready for those bigger challenges.
exactly. They might be designing and developing entire systems or components, running those complex tests, and really analyzing that data to squeeze every ounce of performance out of the tech.
Wow. So they're not just building the future, they're like actively improving it, making things faster, more efficient, all of that good stuff. What's the next step up from there?
Well, eventually you get to the top, right? Senior Photonics Engineering Technician. Those are the veterans, the ones leading the pack,
Yeah.
mentoring those newbies, tackling the big, hairy projects.
That must be an awesome feeling to reach that level,
Yeah.
to know you've climbed that whole ladder and you're at the forefront of all this innovation. That's gotta be rewarding.
Definitely. It really shows their dedication, how hard they've worked, and how they've adapted in a field that just never sits still. And often those senior techs, they're the bridge between the tech team and, everyone else.
Oh, right.
Got to explain those complex concepts to the non-techies, manage those teams, keep those projects on track.
It's like they're bilingual fluent in tech and human. But even with all that experience, it seems like the learning never really stops in a field like this.
Oh, you're absolutely right. That's something else this guide emphasizes. Continuous learning. Got to keep up with the latest advancements because things move fast.
That's true. If you snooze, you lose. Especially in a field where what's cutting edge today is old news tomorrow.
Right.
Speaking of staying ahead of the curve, we touched on certifications earlier. Do those play a big part in career advancement?
They're pretty important, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's like a gold star on your resume.
Right.
Tells potential employers that you're not just keeping up, you're going above and beyond.
Yeah, I can see how that would be huge, especially for those senior roles.
For sure.
Yeah.
Shows you're dedicated, you've got those specialized chops, and you're serious about your professional growth. Could be the difference maker when you're going for those leadership positions.
So it's not just about climbing the ladder. You got to be constantly pushing yourself, learning, growing.
Exactly. It's that drive that makes a photonics engineering technician truly exceptional.
Okay, but let's be real for a minute. We've talked about all the cool stuff, but it can't be all, lasers and fiber optic rainbows, right?
Understand.
There's got to be some challenges that come with this territory. What are some of those?
Well, you're under a lot of pressure to be precise, like incredibly precise.
Right.
We're talking about some seriously sensitive and expensive equipment. The tiniest mistake can have a huge ripple effect.
Like walking a tightrope, huh?
Yeah, kind of. And like we were saying, this technology, it never stops evolving. So you're constantly playing catch up, got to be adaptable, a quick learner, always adding new skills to your toolkit.
Not a career for someone who wants to just coast, that's for sure. But for those who love a good challenge, love tinkering with tech, it sounds incredibly rewarding. Speaking of tinkering, what's the work environment actually like for a photonics engineering technician?
Well, that's another cool thing about this field. The environments are all over the place.
Really?
Could be in a state-of-the-art clean room, putting together those delicate components.
Oh, I can imagine.
Or you could be out in the field installing equipment, in all sorts of different locations.
Oh, that's cool. So it's not just a desk job. You could be traveling out there, solving problems, seeing your work come to life in the real world.
Exactly. And let's not forget that teamwork aspect. You'll be working closely with engineers, other technicians, even clients sometimes.
So all those communication skills are key.
Absolutely. You're bouncing ideas off each other, troubleshooting as a team.
Love it.
It's a very hands-on, fast-paced environment.
Sounds like there's never a dull moment. So it's not all clean rooms and lasers, though, right? What are some of those unexpected places you might find yourself working?
It's funny you mention that. One of the most interesting things about this field is just how many different industries it pops up in.
Okay, yeah, totally. Like, give me an example. What's something completely unexpected?
Well, for example, some photonics engineering technicians, they actually work in agriculture.
Wait, hold up. Agriculture. You're telling me those lasers are being used on farms now?
Yep. They're used to, analyze crops, make sure they're growing in the best conditions.
Wow.
Even sort and grade produce.
Really?
Yeah, super accurately. This whole new world of precision agriculture.
That is wild. I never would have thought.
Yeah.
So it's not just about faster internet and fancy gadgets. It's about actually, solving real problems in every industry.
Exactly. Which brings us to the big question. The future of photonics. What's next?
Right. Because we've talked about where it is now, but where's it going? The guide touches on a few things, but I'm really curious to go deeper. What kind of world are we building with all this?
Just imagine a world with quantum computers that can solve problems in seconds that would take normal computers, years.
Right.
Optical communication systems that make today's internet look like, nothing. And medical imaging so advanced we could spot diseases at a cellular level.
I mean, that's incredible, but also a little intimidating, we're on the edge of, a tech revolution.
It's true. And the thing is, we're just getting started. This field is still relatively new, which means there's so much more to learn, so much more to develop.
Right, and that's where our photonics engineering technicians come in. They're the ones building, testing, refining all this crazy tech.
Exactly. They'll be right there on the front lines, making all this mind-blowing stuff a reality.
So for anyone listening who's thinking about this career path, buckle up.
Oh, yeah. It's not just a job. It's a chance to shape the future with light.
I love that. Shape the future with light. They should put that on a t-shirt. Okay, last question. Not everyone's cut out for a field this demanding, this constantly changing. What would you say are those key qualities that make someone successful in this line of work?
Well, it takes a certain kind of person, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You need that, that drive to always be learning, to adapt, and that ability to stay cool under pressure.
Because when you're dealing with lasers and fiber optics, there's not a lot of room for error.
Exactly. It's about being super detail-oriented, really understanding the ins and outs of the technology, and of course, being a good problem solver never hurts.
And those soft skills, being able to explain these complex ideas in a way anyone can understand.
Oh, crucial.
Hmm.
You're not working in a bubble. It's
Yeah.
about collaborating, sharing those ideas, really pushing the boundaries together.
Well, this has been an awesome journey into the world of photonics engineering technicians. From the nitty-gritty of lasers and fiber optics to the incredible future this tech holds, I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too. And I hope our listeners are walking away feeling inspired, maybe even a little bit starstruck by the power of photonics.
Starstruck, I like it. And for anyone who's ready to take that next step to explore this career path further, we'll be sure to include some resources in the show notes. So until next time, keep those curiosity lasers firing, everyone.